My name is Kristin Shaffer, and first and foremost, I'm a corporate executive in the IT and accounting world. I'm also a mom, and at almost the age of 45, I'm a bikini fitness model. Now, I've been in and around the fitness industry for the better part of 30 years now. And I have the unique privilege of helping women all around the world to get into the most amazing shape of their lives, to shed those unwanted, unhealthy pounds. And they do so without starving themselves, without spending hours and hours in the gym every day. Candidly, what I teach are just really simple principles. So now that you know that, why am I here today? Well, I'm here because having this kind of unique perspective, as old as I am, I've seen a change in the perspective of how we treat our diets and what we think food is here in the United States, in America, versus the rest of the world. And I'm really concerned about this change in perception for two reasons. Number one, first and foremost, it's not being talked about, but that starts today, right? That's why we're here. And number two, it is absolutely positively contributing to the obesity epidemic in this country, where 2/3 of us are overweight or obese, 2/3. And I know that's not a surprise to anybody in this room, right? So I'm going to challenge you today. I have an invitation to you. By the end of my talk, I'd like you to think about, okay, what is it? What's our diet today? And what do we consider food? What are we calling the foods that we eat? So what is this shift in perception that I'm talking about? Just mostly in the United States here. Well, I think it's best stated with an example, with a story. So I go to the grocery store every week, just like everybody else, right? I'm normal that way, well, mostly normal. So I go to the grocery store and I'm zipping through the aisles and I'm filling my cart full of, all the stuff that I eat on a regular basis and people in the fitness world eat on a regular basis. Stacks and stacks and stacks of eggs. I eat that in 1 week, folks. That's 1 week. That's a lot of freaking food, right? Bags of vegetables, tons of lean proteins, chicken, ground turkey, lean beef. I fill it up with fruits and nuts and whole grains, go through the checkout line. I'm heading out the exit with my cart full of my food, and then I hear this familiar voice call my name. Some friend of mine. She comes running up to me, Kristin, it's great to see you. We exchange pleasantries, and then she, mid-sentence, looks down at my cart, looks back up at me and says, oh my gosh, is that what you eat? Ew, I couldn't do what you do. I love food too much and I need variety in my diet. What? Let's think about that. I hear this all the time. She says, number one, I love food too much and I need, number two, variety in my diet. So what does that mean? I'm looking at my cart and I'm thinking, okay, I've got variety in my diet, at least I think I do. And I know I love food. At least I think I do, right? I love what I eat every day. And then I look at her cart that's filled full of these boxes and colorful bags with all these really cool pictures of foods that just look amazing, right? They look really delicious. So maybe I'm missing out on something. Maybe I'm missing out on a bunch of variety that the rest of the world is enjoying. So being the curious person that I am, I do a bunch of research, and this is what I found out. Turns out that there are 17,000 new food items released to the market each and every year in this country. Let's think about that. 17,000 new food items released to the market in this country. That's a lot of freaking food, and obviously a lot of variety that I'm missing out on. Or is it? I eat 125 items on a regular basis. Okay, huge difference there, right? So I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Okay, I eat lean proteins, nuts, vegetables, fruits. Last time I checked, I don't think there's any new plants or animals cropping up around the planet. So what is this variety? Well, with exception to that thing, we're not really sure what she is. That's our dog. So what are these new foods that are cropping up? Well, of course, I do some more research, and it turns out that 60 to 70% of the calories that we are taking in this country are made up of 4 items: corn, wheat, soy, and rice. 60 to 70% of our calories. You tack on some sugar, you tack on some salt, you add some chemical flavorings to that, and you've got a new food item. Now, 60 to 70% of calories, that's a lot, right? I mean, even for me, that was hard to believe. But let's think about it for a minute. most of our diets, right? Think about our typical day. Most of us are heading off to, well, we're at the University of Idaho, students, right? You're heading off to school in the morning, you're starving, you're gonna cram a donut down your throat. For me, corporate world, we do bagels, a little bit, pricier. So, or in this case, vitamin donuts. Well, what's that donut or bagel made up of? Wheat flour. And maybe for lunch, you grab a sub sandwich. What's in that? Wheat flour and soy. Maybe you got a bag of corn chips with it. What's in that? Corn flour, wheat flour, rice flour. Oh, the trifecta, perfect. And then for dinner, what do we typically have? Well, today's society, it's the heat and serve frozen meals, right? Most of us do that because we're pressed for time. The number one ingredient in most of those meals is called semolina. Hopefully I've pronounced that right. That's a fancy word for flour. So when you think about it, it actually makes sense. 60 to 70% of our caloric intake today are made of these 4 items: corn, wheat, soy, rice. Add sugar, you add salt, chemical flavorings, and you've got a new food. So we think we're getting variety, but we're really not. We're getting those 4 ingredients: sugar, salt, and chemical flavorings. So how did we get there? How did we get here today? Because you know what, when I was growing up, way back when, students in the room, right? 1960s, late 1960s, early 70s, what I have in my cart today was considered food and was considered variety. But obviously it's not today, because what that lady said to me at the grocery store, I hear that all the time. And that is a new trend in this country the last 10 or 15 years. That I love food too much, I couldn't do what you do, Kristin, and I need variety in my diet. So how did this all happen? Well, if you look back at the obesity epidemic, you have to look at a graph here. Starting in the late 1970s, that's when it really started taking off. What happens to correspond with that is when the US government started recommending that we all go on a low-fat diet because we wanted to combat heart disease. That was the number one issue at that time. So consumers responded. They started eating low-fat foods. Manufacturers responded. They started producing low-fat foods. Well, what happens when you take fat out of food? It tastes like crap, right? Because fat's flavor. So in order for the manufacturers to put flavor back in, what did they do? They added sugar, salt, and chemical flavorings. Of course. It tasted great. It gave consumers what they wanted because they thought, of course, they were eating healthy food. Because at that time, healthy food meant low fat, right? Sugar, salt, chemical flavorings. 60 Minutes did an amazing piece on the chemical flavoring industry, which actually took off right around the same time, right? Because manufacturers demanded it. I highly encourage you to look at it. It's on YouTube, 2011 piece. It is eye-opening. So we think we're getting variety. We thought we were getting something healthy. We really weren't, right? Fast forward to 2011, the second chart below, that shows the per capita consumption of wheat flour. Obviously corresponds right along with the obesity epidemic in this country. Fast forward to 2011, those perceptions largely are true today. We've carried them with us. We're a little bit smarter on the sugar thing, but on the rest of these ingredients and the salt and the chemical flavorings, we still haven't quite caught on yet. So going back, I challenge you today when you go home, think about what you're eating. Think about our diets collectively and how that's contributing to the obesity epidemic and what we consider to be food. Or are we really thinking that these 4 items, plus sugar, salt, and chemical flavorings is food? Thank you very much for your time.